Hello, my beautiful blossoms. This is me, Shigure, Oshiro, and welcome to the Spyro Reignited Trilogy. I'm still waking up. I've only been up for a few hours. I don't know if I'm going to be able to have energy for this, but we're going to get through it. Somehow. So. Alright, just give me a moment. I need to get things going. I'm just gonna quickly take care of some shit. And that will be that. So yeah, I basically just keep the title short by putting just like Spyro into the title. So. Alright, so there are three saves, of course. Okay, I'm gonna be playing. I don't know what the chronological order is, but we'll see what happens. Like, they're gonna. Left to right would be the chronological order. Give me a moment. The fact check. Okay, yeah, it's just left to right. I'm not sure what this will look. Hello. Also, this is actually the first one, so you gotta catch the first Spyro stream on here. At least from my end, so.
Okay, rolling.
It's been peaceful here in the Five Worlds, or is it six? For a dragon's age, we now have 12,000 treasure, or is it 14,000?
What about this Ganasty Ganok character? Now, I understand he's found a magic spell to turn gems into warriors for his cause.
I'll take that question. Nasty Nork is a simple creature.
Simple?
He has been contained in a remote world and is no threat to the Dragon Kingdom.
No threat?
Besides, he is ugly.
Ugly? That does it!
Huh? Looks like I've got some things to do.
I'll have to look into the originals in order to know that, but... that's how it is.
Thank you for releasing me, Spyro. Free 10 dragons in the Artisan world, then find the balloonist. He'll transport you to the next world.
What about Nasty Nork? I'm going after him.
Find dragons first. That's all I can tell you.
If you prove your worth by rescuing 10 dragons, then you may use this balloon to fly to a new world.
Well, it actually is. It's just that I normally specify that kind of stuff via the YouTube title when I archive it. So, yeah, your assumption is actually correct.
Hey, Spyro, press the jump button twice to glide. And don't be afraid.
Afraid? Of what?
Falling from high mountain peaks? Plummeting into prehistoric glaciers?
Oh, that.
If you knew about my entire game library, there might be some amounts that would probably be similar. But, like, I know we talked about Wii Sports, for example.
Welcome to Town Square, Spyro. Begin exploring by gliding to that area with the bulls. Use the right stick to get a good look.
Thanks, Spyro. I had the worst itch on the tip of my wig. Did you know that you get your longest glides by pressing the jump button at the very top of your jump?
I always went to bowling most of the time, but that doesn't mean that the other ones were bad. Although playing tennis was actually pretty fun too, with the regular one, so. I don't exactly have the best Wi-Fi connection. But you're not entirely wrong about the stream buffering. It's not the first time it's had some sort of delay or anything like that.
see a man dressed in blue running around here? He's a thief, and he's stolen a dragon egg. You've got to track him down and get that egg! Run! Run! I'm getting a little winded.
Well, to be fair, at least tennis isn't as finicky as golf, as far as I know. I didn't touch golf at all because it's not really interested in me all that much. But I know that, but from the gameplay I've seen, golf tends to be finicky at times. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that. I kind of preferred playing golf on Switch Sports, personally, because I've played Switch Sports as well. I recall that one being a lot easier to play. But I haven't played in golf on the resort, so I wouldn't know. But then, you know, I don't have any experience with it. The only Wii Sports I have is the regular one, that's pretty much it. Switch Sports isn't that bad, personally, but, you know, if you, considering that you can only do so much with that, because kind of out there. But I will admit that the waiting times are kind of absurd a lot of the time. Especially when you have to wait for like people to join in and all that. So
Cool flash. Do that again.
The artisan's boss is through a portal behind me. You can challenge him now, if you feel you are ready.
Logging the customization in Switch Sports is also quite enjoyable as another thing about it as well, but yeah, there's a decent amount of stuff in that one, but you know, it's not the greatest in a lot of other ways. Plus the fact that you had to wait for all the game modes to be available, like, due to the game having like loads of updates back then. Is this absurd? So There are some decent things about Switch Sports, but not all of it's perfect or anything, so.
Nasty Nork has put one of his most devious henchmen in charge of the artisan world.
Bring him on! I think I smell a barbecue.
Be careful, Spyro. Toasty has many tricks up his sleeve.
Well, the thing about Wii Sports Club is that you actually had to pay for the game, and you had to either buy or rent the actual game modes or whatever, if I'm recalling correctly. At least from what I've heard, I don't know. Yeah, Wii Sports Club doesn't really sound that interesting, but... I don't really know if it's better... I can even use a trigger to use the fire attack, so there is that. But yeah, a lot of the time the attack button is just set to one thing or the other, so it's just not something I'm used to personally. Sure, there are games that do require me to attack with other buttons, but it's not as frequent as you think. Yeah, I can tell by that.
Spyro, my friend, how about a hint on gliding?
You bet.
For the longest glide, press the jump button at the top of your jump, and try pressing the action button to drop down mid-flight.
When you free a dragon or step on one of their platforms, you're saving your progress. That could be useful if you run into trouble. Not that you ever run into trouble, Spyro.
After you've freed all the dragons, pass through this fancy vortex thingamajigger. It'll take you back to the artisan home. But first, let me tell you a story.
No thanks. See ya!
Hi, Spyro.
Yeah, that's always a good thing. Although, at least the black loading screens aren't as blinding as the white ones. Because there are video games that just have the literal white ones and it's just blinding as hell. So, there's that. Although, in all honesty, it's kind of like the entire dark mode versus light mode setting. So. Yeah, that would be crazy. At least I don't play games with blinding loading screens at night. Not if I can help it anyway.
big enemy like this Nork with the club cannot be charged, but a quick flame, that should defeat them.
Where's Nasty Nork? I'll torch him!
Keep your horns on, Spyro! You have much to learn first. Do you know what the dragonfly following you is doing? His name is Sparks, and he's helping and protecting you. Keep an eye on him, and see what I mean.
Wow! I see you've been busy rescuing dragons, Spyro. You may travel to the Peacekeeper's world if you like. Are you ready to go?
I honestly never had those moments. But then again, I always use dark mode for, like, nowadays. So it's been ages since I've used anything in light mode.
Welcome to Peacekeepers. Look how our treasure has been stolen and turned against us. Please, recover our treasure, Spyro.
Collect treasure. Got it.
Yeah, well, for me, yeah, I don't have to worry about that because I don't use applications set ready to change that every fucking time, so I don't have to worry about it all that much. Like, the only time I use something that's in light mode is when I'm using Google Docs on my mother's PC, but that's pretty much it. So, yeah, the only way for me to use Google Docs in dark mode is to be on my phone. You can do things there, but it's easier for me to do things on a laptop or a PC in terms of that. Otherwise, it's universal everywhere for the dark mode.
What? Huh? Oh. Thank you for releasing me, Spyro.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. When it comes to applications, having both modes, like, in reality, it's like dark mode would be the best choice because it's easier on the eyes. It doesn't blind you. And all that, so. Like, I used, like, back when I started having my own phone, this was back when I used Android phones, I would have YouTube in light mode, but then have, like, the screen up at the screen brightness up at 100, so it's like it's extra blinding at that point. I do not recommend that, by the way. It's not a good time. So, yeah, after a while I basically turned it down to something lower than 50. And then once dark mode was an option that I could actually use, I switched that as well to make things even easier.
Dry Canyon rewards good gliders. You are a good glider, eh, Spyro?
I was born to glide.
Yeah, it can be a bit of a habit, all things considered, but sure I'll get used to things as time goes on.
Is that you, Spyro? Are you the young dragon I've been hearing so much about? Ever since you were a wee puff of smoke, we've known,
You've known...
I forget.
Yeah, it's honestly not surprising, but that's how it is. And especially in a lot of these old games, like, those kinds of tropes are pretty much used quite frequently. So, sadly they're not used as frequently nowadays, which is disappointing. Yeah, that's pretty much the case in a lot of ways. Like, on the other hand, though, there are times where things will have those despawn rates, and then there are games that drop that have enemies that drop things, and then the stuff doesn't despawn. So it's kind of here and there in a lot of cases. That's the way to put it. They're also going to automatically just give you the drops and all that too, so... You know, it's either I pick things up manually, one thing is don't just spawn, or I pick things up while in a rush to drop rate. It's actually being a thing, and there's so like despawning and all that. Like there are just loads of other aspects to consider.
How's a dragon supposed to flame metal armor anyway?
Remember, Spyro, flame won't work on metal, but charging with your horns, that should do the trick.
I was also one of the people who'd use the stud magnet extra in the LEGO games as well. So, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, either I pick things up or I can just get things later. Yeah, that's fair. Like, I at least do what I can to grab stuff, but, you know, if I miss something, then I'll either try and get it at a later time, or it'll just be there waiting around for a while. So, for me, it's just kind of all over the place. Yeah, I'm not gonna sit there for who knows how long trying to play catch up like that. Just to chase around. So it's just one of those things.
Hey, what's on the other side of that river?
Why don't you glide there and find out?
Yeah, that's pretty much how it is.
Hey, Spyro. Sparks the Dragonfly has been doing a good job protecting you. Make sure to keep him strong by feeding him lots of butterflies.
I have no idea what image you're referring to, but okay. That's how you want to interpret it. Alright.
Dr. Shemp is so cool. You don't know what it's been like listening to him over and over. But I tell you one thing, he should watch his back.
Well, I'm sure you can decide on one, because I don't need to see every single option. Son of a... Stupid controller wanted to play disconnect. Alright, I'll take a look in a moment.
Wait until you grow big, like me, before charging those large enemies.
Spyro, some big Norks up ahead are wearing armor, and in the ice cave, armor can make their feet very slippery.
That's honestly good to know. I'm not really sure what else to say about it, but then again, what is there to really say on the matter?
Thank you for releasing me.
I was just joking about the bonking part. It's worth your reaction though. That's adorable.
You've done well, Spyro. Some dragons thought you weren't ready, but I knew they were wrong.
I'm ready, all right. Ready for what?
Thanks for freeing me, Spyro. And now, where was I?
You've reached the highest point in Clifftown. You can get to almost anywhere from here. If I were you, I'd use that whirlwind over there.
incredible glide, Spyro. I thought I'd be stuck here forever with those ugly vultures standing on my head. Those birds might look tough, but they're pretty tasty. Flame broiled with a pinch of salt.
I actually tried that link, but the thing is that instead of leading to the original area, it actually switched to what it's supposed to be, to like the new store, so it kind of isn't available. Therefore, it kind of is what it is at this point. only difference is that they have to add more things to the current store, so. Yeah, that gliding was pretty close. Although considering how old this game is, probably isn't as easy as it would be nowadays. Like a lot of modern games. That's honestly fair. It's... Although I'm not really sure how they would continue the story, but... Then again, I'm sure you'll understand more when I get to the other games. Whatever that'll be. Like, I have a tendency to rotate games for, like, each week. So the streams are pretty much different a lot of the time. I honestly know nothing about that franchise, but and again, there are only so many franchises that end up on my radar all the time. Yeah, I'm basically late out of the releases, considering that I focus on what I actually like compared to things I'm not familiar with. So. This is one of those things where it's like, yeah, I had to go to this franchise, but at the same time, I don't know. I want to do that one. Like, I know that last year I got into Final Fantasy because I played the one that has the online mode and all that, so. Oh, it's the trial version, mind you. I honestly had a fun time with that. The one that's on the schedule, though, is basically one of the old ones. I tend to avoid platformers a lot of the time because I suck at platforming. Especially the ones that have like the auto-scrolling. I suck at those ones specifically, which is why I avoid a lot of platforming games, because it's like I know that there are going to be those levels that have that stupid gimmick. I don't like it. The only time I'm actually good at platforming is when I'm playing Minecraft, but that's about it. That's honestly the exception in a lot of ways. I'd say that you won't really be seeing me play a lot of platformers. It's like Minecraft at least has easy platforming in a lot of cases. Sure, there are ways to make it difficult, but it's honestly all optional. On the other hand, I have more experience with like first-person shooters and all that. Yeah, you're having a skill issue with Minecraft's platforming then. You're literally having a skill issue in that case, but in that case, we're basically opposites. I have more experience with like third-person shooters, first-person shooters, obviously Lego games, visual novels, the occasional RPG, JRPG. Amongst other things. Yeah, I've seen it. So your gameplay speaks for itself in that case. At least with the regular platformers, you're most likely better than me, considering that you could probably easily criticize my platforming skills. Although, in terms of the Minecraft adventure map, I do have some parkour in there too, so that's not as difficult, but it's more difficult. I'm correcting myself, but things that when it comes to the adventure map I'm working on, I have like platforming, but instead of like grass blocks, I have ice blocks. So it's one of those funny things. Right? It's like if you're not careful without you time your jumps and shit, you're not gonna know what the hell you're doing. So yeah, it's just one of those things.
Well done, Spyro. Keep up the good work, and I know you'll fulfill your destiny.
Destiny? I just want to kick some...
Just toast those enemies and collect the treasure.
Yeah, I'm not really used to gliding levels either, personally, so... These gliding levels should be a lot easier compared to the platforming parts. So, there's that. Then again, time trials like this are not really my thing either. There we go. Yep, yep. Yeah. That's honestly fair. In my case, the only time trials I'm at least decent at are the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe time trials in like the base game. Because I literally had to do a pain in the ass Rainbow Road time trial. For not only myself, but for my brothers as well. So, it's just one of those things. Took me a while though. I do not recommend it. To be fair, the time trials in Mario Kart aren't exactly the easiest these days. Well, the thing about the Booster Course pack in 8 Deluxe is that you have the optional 200cc time trials, and those are much harder than what was already there. So I highly recommend at least doing a few of the base game ones, but 200cc ones in 8 Deluxe, that's not something I'll be recommending. Obviously, if I had a capture card, I would absolutely show that, because I think that'd be interesting for a live stream. But I don't know. Well, in terms of time trials, you at least had one thing in 8 Deluxe, but it was one of those stupid. I think it was like the gold part or something. Can't remember, but yeah, it was only one thing, and you can go for it if you want, but it's not really recommended in a lot of cases because that can be pretty difficult to deal with. I just know that for the Rainbow Road I did an 8 Deluxe. It was extremely difficult because it took me a long time to perfectly get the jumps, like, down. I got to nail them. And it was not easy. Like, at all. That's honestly fair. But obviously I'm not trying to defend it Deluxe or anything, but still. Not like it's the worst game in the franchise. Especially nowadays. Although I haven't played all the Mario Kart games to know which one's the best and which one's the worst. I've played Mario Kart Wii, like, back in the day. However, I didn't do time trials with that a lot of the time, so... well, aside from Mario Kart Tour, there are also a few arcade Mario Kart games that exist. And I mean, like, ones that can be played on those old arcade cabinets from, like, way back in the day. Like, I know those are kinds of things where exist. Although those are more underrated compared to Mario Kart Tour and the mainline games. I know that's probably very obscure information, but they are real. Well, I haven't seen gameplay on those arcade ones specifically. Pure, I've at least heard about, but I don't really care about playing that. Yeah, I've never played any of their arcade ones. And Tour never interested me because I don't really see a point in having a free-to-play Mario Kart game where you have, like unlockables that are as high as that. Plus, I already have games that take up loads of storage as is. One more than the other, but still. I don't need more mobile games to play. It's bad enough I have to deal with logging in to get Genshin on mobile nowadays, since the PS4 version is no longer available. But I don't have the storage for Genshin Impact. So I can't exactly do much about that right now. The only good thing is I took care of that. And the count related bullshit for it. So. When I do get back to it. The count will still exist. Well, there are people who do like Mario Kart Tour, but it's just not really my thing, because it's like, I don't need to play Mario Kart on my phone. I can either play it on one of the older consoles, such as the Nintendo Wii, or I could just play Mario Kart 8 on my Nintendo Switch. So there are plenty of other Mario Kart options for me to play. If I ever really felt like doing one of the old one, seems like you'd probably find an emulator or some shit. So, like, I've even been playing Mario Kart DS a decent amount back in the day too. But it's not my most played one. So, in my case, it was, well, I know that I've played a lot of 8 Deluxe in recent years, but back in the day it was basically those two in particular as well. Although I also played Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U as well, so there's also that. I haven't played a lot out of the Mario Kart games. Like, I haven't played the Nintendo 64 Mario Kart or anything, amongst other things. So if I were to try, like, get any of the oldest Mario Kart games, it's not my Wii U, it's my brother Nate's, because he's someone who owns the console. But I actually didn't mind playing on it all that much. Played a lot of Lego Batman 3 and Lego City Undercover on that as well, so yeah, it wasn't that bad. Like, yeah, the marketing wasn't that great or anything, but, you know, the games it had, while limiting in some ways, due to the gamepad gimmick, were fun from the ones I have played. Plus, being able to play Nintendo Wii games on there wasn't the worst thing in the world, although I will admit that it's not exactly my favorite console. For a lot of the other consoles that I played on. I still have my Nintendo DS Lite as well, so yeah, I have a lot out of my own consoles, whereas my brothers and I also share consoles sometimes, depending on what it is. But yeah, it's interesting to say the least. To be fair, it wasn't the most popular console. And it obviously still isn't, so yeah, it'll probably seem weird to a lot of people at first. Although I'm honestly used to it because I know that my brother Nate is the one who owns the Wii U. I don't personally own it. Like, I own a couple games for it, but that's an entirely different situation in and of itself. So, and it's shared because it's like if we can't afford more than one specific console, then yeah, sharing is kind of a need. well, to be fair, when you're in this, when you have like lots of people who like the same shit, then yeah, there are times where multiple of a single console is necessary. Because, well, it's true that I have my own Nintendo Wii, and my mother has her own of that console too. So, two separate consoles there, and my brothers have their own original Xboxes, one for each of them. And so on and so forth. Although out of everyone that I personally know, my mother is the least experienced with the video games. She does not play a lot of video games. So... yeah, it's an interesting situation. My brothers and I are the main gamers in the household. That's honestly fair. At least you have someone to play video games with in real life, and obviously when it comes to online, you have me and the others as well. So yeah, you basically have a good amount of options for people to play with. The only video game that my mother has played in recent years was Minecraft. That's literally the main thing she's played. But she has heard of like the Atari and all that, like some very old consoles. So, do with that information what you will. Yeah, it most definitely does. Although it was basically able to just assume much without having to say anything, which is why it's really not that surprising. In a lot of ways, so. Yeah, it definitely can. But that's just how it is a lot of the time. Although, for me, it's an entirely different situation. Because, yeah, my brothers and I can agree to play video games together. However, when one is more decisive than the other two, it's a bit of an issue. It becomes like people to play with. So there will be like times where my brothers and I will agree to play video games together, and then we ask each other what we want to play, and then one of us just says that we don't know. Like, and there's literally just I don't know. It's like, I don't know why that's the case, but it's annoying. If you ask me. I hate the response of I don't know when it comes to doing stuff with others. Because then you can just get extremely annoying to deal with. There have been times where that kind of shit started the fights too, like this, so. But they don't really go too far, in a lot of cases. Just one of those annoying things in life. Although in your case it's a lot more different, I would reckon. But still, as long as you're able to play video games and all that, it is what it is in some sense. But with what you've told me, it'll definitely get a lot more difficult for you to do that. That's without going into the details publicly. Obviously, I'll just leave it at that, and anyone who watches this far will just be left guessing. So, what the hell I'm referring to. In terms of my case, though, I just mostly play video games alone, so I don't have to worry about the response of I don't know just appearing in a conversation. It's one of those things. Yeah, I keep getting close, but obviously when it comes to time trials, this is not the kind of thing I'm used to, so it does take a while to adjust this kind of shit. And also, I just realized that it's 6:37 p.m. and I said I'd end this stream at 6, so the second live stream is going to be happening at a later time than I originally scheduled. Oh well, it is what it is. Yeah, time trials tend to be like that. Obviously, I could pull up a guide for this level, but at the same time, I might rather not. Because who knows what 10 seconds gonna be left in guides for this game. It's hard for me to time shit. Son of a... My controller chose to make me switch to the screen of which account is using this headset. Which makes the screen turn blue. It's ridiculous, that threw me off. Hate it when that happens. But yeah, when it comes to the lights, it's kind of difficult to tell which one is supposed to go next and like after the halfway point, because it's just not that easy to see when your rotation is kind of limited when you're moving. Like it's just limited to like you're gliding primarily, and I hate that. So unless there's something I don't know, in which case I won't be too surprised if there is. Yeah, there's not really much else I can do about it. My fan has been on the whole time, so I don't know how you haven't been able to hear it up until that point. It's nice and loud. Although you'd mainly be hearing my window fan because that's the loudest between the two fans I have on. The ceiling fan is the quietest of the two, so you're not going to hear that one. That's weird, normally it's able to be heard at all times. Like, I know one of the previous live streams I did, and someone said it was too loud. It's... I'm not really sure what to really say about that, but yeah, the volume of the fans is pretty random. To be fair, the timer goes down quite quick too, and it's annoying. I can only do so much about what I do. Well, the timer didn't go for the light that you told me not to go for, I got turned around. It's just annoying. Like, there are times where you can easily get turned around too. It's just a bit of a nuisance when you have to go around in circles like this. It's annoying. Good. This is more... I feel like this is kind of more annoying than the time trials in Mario Kart 8, but maybe that's just me having skill issues. I don't know. Call me crazy on that one. If you want, I'm not gonna judge. Yeah, I know. Alright. Finally. I should probably get the hang of the gliding. Shit, though. It's a bit of a nuisance. That was just a bitch to sit through. Then again, that wasn't as hard as the flying levels in like the old LEGO games from way back in the day. If you know, you know. Hopefully I'll have enough energy to do the second live stream, otherwise I might have to do it after I have dinner tonight or something, I don't know. But either way, this was... Well, to be fair, I'd have to switch physical games. And since my PS4 is basically at the point where I have to turn the console on and off in order to get games to be read properly after playing with the discs, it's just annoying. It can be a bit of a hassle, so kind of prefer to space those out if I can help it. So it's not like I can't switch games, it's just one of those things where it's like, if I'm dealing with something that's as long as that, it's on the debatable side of things. Well, it's not an issue by default, but it's an issue for me, because in my case, I have like a coaster that I can put my cup on, and that's on my dresser, and off to my right, because my consoles are on the right hand corner of the dresser, so that stuff is essentially next to each other. That's the problem. Obviously, that on top of the fact that I mostly drink pop, and yeah, it can be a bit of an annoying thing. Yeah, it's a personal problem for me. I don't exactly have anywhere else to put my drinks in my room outside of the floor. I'd rather not have easy need to spill drinks on the floor. So it's just one of those things. Oh, believe me, there's a lot of stuff okay. There's a lot of stuff on my dresser lot of hair in my bedroom floor. There's a whole lot. I'd have to send you multiple pictures. But yeah, I can do that. Just know none of it's gonna look pretty.
I can't believe how fast you found so much stolen treasure. Hop aboard for the Magic Crafter's world if you're ready.
Welcome to Magic Crafters. I want you to release the dragons, reclaim our treasure, and recover the eggs from those pesky blue thieves.
When you see arrows like these, you can charge along with them to begin a supercharge.
Supercharge? Excellent!
Go ahead, try it.
This portal leads to a special place where you can learn to fly. I remember when I was a young dragon, earning my wings.
Learn to fly. Got it.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it. No, I was in the middle of responding to something you said via typing, so I didn't see that coming. Oh well. It is what it is. Hopefully not as long as before, but we'll see. That's definitely one way to go about enjoying this, but oh well. Okay, that one took less time, less attempts compared to the first one. That's definitely an interesting difficulty spike if I do say so myself. It's crazy. Well, you are. I don't mind. Because I know it's so fun in games at the end of the day. The only difference is that you get more reaction out of you than you get out of me, so there's a major reaction difference.
I hate those bugs. When I become big and strong like you, I'll squash them all.
Until then, remember that supercharge makes you invincible.
Yeah, I know. It's a problem. Well, that's how it is for the time being. Yeah, that's pretty much the case. Well, at least until you find other ways to tease me, you know that. Like, what is the election of getting an actual reaction? To be fair, acting like you're done with me doesn't really work, and which you have seen before. So. Yeah. I just don't use it as much around you. As interesting as that is. So. Yeah, I know you don't. Like you said, it's not really a reaction that is around you too often. So... that honestly makes sense.
Please do something about these green druids. They insist on moving everything in sight. Fair enough. Yeah. That's fair. There's not really much for me to really say on the matter, but I understand what you mean, to say the least, so. Although, I'm sure there are a lot of first-time players who have had that kind of habit of just doing it nonetheless. Not that I know any personally, but you know, wouldn't be too surprising.
Yeah, and on the other hand, and if the case need be, I can always switch levels and come back to this one later. If I feel like it, so. Like, the ability to go back and forth isn't really that bad. At that point. Alright, I'm gonna end this live stream here and switch games now, so I'll see all of you in a bit, my beautiful blossoms, and all that.